We're following breaking news. The House passes a bill that could ban TikTok over national security concerns. A woman is shot near an elementary school playground. What we're learning about the moments leading up to that shooting. Changes are coming to how Safe Streets workers handle potentially violent conflicts. Fox 45 pressing the mayor tonight.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
Breaking news out of Washington, D.C. The House passes a bill that could ban TikTok in the United States. That bill calls for a nationwide ban of the popular app if owner ByteDance doesn't sell its stake. Officials say ByteDance is controlled by the Chinese Communist Party and poses a national security threat. People we spoke with today had mixed reaction.
I think you're going to have a lot of ticked off young folks. They enjoy the app. They get to express themselves artistically and, you know, their views of how they see things.
It's too much. Like, TikTok is taking over pretty much the country.
It's bad in one case if kids are going to be harming themselves if they lose this, and they're losing this great vehicle to communicate. But it's also bad that kids are to that point where they're thinking of harming themselves if they lose this social media platform. So I'm a little torn by that.
Congressman Andy Harris released a statement saying personal data and national security should be a concern to everyone, and the change of ownership outweighs the risk of China using the app to spy on Americans. Congressman Dutch Ruppersberger also released a statement saying there's ample evidence that the Chinese government is using TikTok to steal information from Americans. He went on to say the bill is not about manipulating Americans, but preventing the Chinese government from spying on us. A reaction is pouring in on social media right now. Let's take a look at some of the comments right now. So you're telling me American apps are not allowed in China, but an app owned by the Chinese Communist Party is allowed in the U.S. Yes, TikTok should be banned. Here's another one here. They're passing a massive censorship bill, and people are going to cheer it on because some silly TikTok trend briefly annoyed them a few years ago. And finally, if banning TikTok in America stands in the Senate after the House just voted to pass the bill, then what stops them from doing it to other social media platforms? By the way, the bill passed 352 to 65 in the House. It now goes on to the Senate for a vote where it's unclear if it will pass. Stay with Fox 45 for the latest updates on air and online. Mary.
Kai, thanks. Well, police are investigating after a 49-year-old woman was found with a gunshot wound near an elementary school playground. Around 7 this morning, Baltimore police found the victim unresponsive near Windsor Hills Elementary. She was taken to a nearby hospital where she later died. We'll stay with Fox 45 as we learn more about this investigation. We have surveillance footage showing what neighbors say are the moments just before this shooting. Vincent Hill will take a closer look at that footage tonight on Fox 45 News at 10.
We've been asking about this since Brooklyn Day. The move to make this announcement today to the radio after we've been asking about it, does that have anything to do with the upcoming election to appear more transparent?
No.
Well, changes are coming to the way Safe Streets workers handle conflicts that could turn violent. It comes after Fox 45 News has been asking about this specific policy. Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost pressed the mayor today on those changes.
When there are weapons involved in the mediations completed by Safe Streets workers, the employees do not alert law enforcement. That is a point of contention for some Baltimore City Council members. But ever since the Brooklyn Day shooting, we've been asking the mayor as well as Monty for information about a policy for escalation. We haven't gotten anywhere until now. Wednesday morning on Talk Radio.
Well, let's go. We have the mayor of Baltimore on the phone now.
Mayor Brandon Scott asked about Safe Streets employees dealing with guns and conflicts. After months of questions from Fox 45 News about changes coming to the escalation policy, Mayor Scott telling the radio policy shifts are in the works. But that news kept secret for months. In July, after the worst mass shooting in Baltimore's history, Fox 45 News started pressing City Hall for answers on the policy, especially since Safe Streets workers who mediated several conflicts at the party before chaos erupted knew there were weapons there and never told Baltimore police. So Wednesday,
we're here to do a little housekeeping this morning, signing a total of 7 bills.
We demanded answers from the mayor ourselves about the sudden commitment to transparency. Can you explain what the changes are and what went into that?
So this is about escalation. escalating in incidents like we saw in Brooklyn, where those on the ground will be notifying administration at Muncie about what's happening, and then thus allowing those individuals at the top levels of Muncie to make further decisions. That's simple.
We've been asking about this since Brooklyn Day. The move to make this announcement today to the radio after we've been asking about it, does that have anything to do with the upcoming election to appear more transparent?
No. And to be quite honest, that's a disrespectful question. It's the first time someone asked me personally out loud, so I gave them an answer. That's simple.
Mayor Scott not specifying whether Safe Streets workers have actually been briefed on the new policy. Meanwhile, the mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement continues to tout the number of mediations completed as a metric of success for Safe Streets. But the city refuses to share how mediations are defined and will not produce a copy of the forms used by Safe Streets workers to track the mediations. Late this afternoon, Monzi did send us a copy of this policy. You can read it for yourself in this story on our website. In the newsroom, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
Well, new questions today about the Baltimore City Fire Union's endorsement of Mayor Scott. The endorsement was a change in messaging for the union, which told Fox 45 News last week it didn't receive any pandemic relief money from the mayor despite submitting a request. During the endorsement this week, though, the union said it will be receiving that money after all. The mayor now says the department was always supposed to receive the funding. However, the city's ARPA spending dashboard shows all of the ARPA funding had been committed. So we asked the mayor, where's the money coming from?
In February, all of the money was committed. We do know some was being shifted around, but the union had previously told me they were not getting that money. So why the change of heart, and what do you say to those who say you're buying votes?
There's no change of heart, period. And anybody that says that is just telling people whatever you guys want to tell them. There's always been pots of money that we said would go to specific things that were set aside. This is included in that. And as we reallocate any money that we have to reallocate, we will do that.
The mayor's chief recovery officer told City Council last month they were looking at shifting funds because spending has been slow. Howard County police are asking anybody to report suspicious activity after a woman was attacked while out for a run. Happened around 6:30 Monday morning on a trail in Centennial Park. According to Howard County police, a 24-year-old woman was running on the trail when a man grabbed her from behind and hit her in the face. The woman fought back using pepper spray and got away. Police are now searching for a suspect.
We have a vague description of the suspect. We're not sure what the motive is, random attack, something else. So we're still investigating that part. You know your comfort level. You know when something doesn't seem right.
The victim telling police her attacker was a white or Hispanic man between 5'7" and 5'9" with dark eyes, wearing a black medical mask and a black baseball hat. Again, anybody with information is urged to contact police. This is not the first time we've seen somebody attacked on a popular walking trail in Maryland. It has been 7 months since 37-year-old Rachel Marin was found dead along the Ma and Pa Trail in Harford County. Marin's death rocked the community. In response to her murder, officials installed security cameras on the trail with a focus on covering isolated stretches of the path. Now, the search for Marin's killer still ongoing. Back in August, officials released this video of a potential suspect in her murder. Police say the man was wanted in connection with a home invasion and assault in Los Angeles earlier last year. Investigators say they were able to connect him to Marin's murder using DNA. No new information, though, has come out about a potential killer until last month. That's when police revealed these sketches of a possible suspect. While many celebrated the new development, others questioned why officers took more than 6 months to release the sketches.
Hope you've been enjoying this one. Another day where we can have temperatures in the 70s and sunshine is one to savor. Well, we continue to see a wonderful trend here as we head into tomorrow. We're going to get more of this. So upper 70s across Baltimore today, mid 70s just outside. We've cooled down a bit. We're at 68 degrees now. West-northwest wind around 6 miles per hour. Most of us still are feeling some great weather to get out and enjoy your evening home. Hopefully got the windows down somewhere inside your home or in the car on the way home. Temperatures will slowly dip into the 50s tonight, likely stopping right around 50 degrees, but it's going to be easy to take. However, as we head into the next few days, we're going to be tracking Some chances for rainfall. That's going to arrive on Friday. We're going to go ahead and put the yellow light on for Thursday so we don't ruin any car washes. I know when the weather gets this nice, a lot of folks want to get out, start cleaning up the cars and everything else. Spring cleaning fever is underway, but we may need to wait on that as we have our chances for rain. Also tracking a big cold blast. Yep. As much as we love this warm weather, it's going to come to an end. So we'll tell you when that is set to arrive coming up.
A presidential rematch voters say they didn't want. I'm Christine Frizzell with what this year's race means for them and for another candidate plowing ahead with his campaign.
Now you can watch Fox 45 News for free anytime on Amazon Fire TV or Samsung TV Plus. Is there still an opening with Donald Trump and Joe Biden each securing their party's nomination? Could the unprecedented nature of this matchup mean there's still hope for a third-party candidate? Our Christine Frizzell live for us on Capitol Hill tonight with more on that question. Good evening, Christine.
Hey there, Mary. So we're still waiting to hear from the group No Labels, which has said it will likely be putting forth a candidate. But independent Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is also making some news today.
Just 1 week after Super Tuesday, both President Biden
this is the time of choosing
and former President Trump are celebrating clinching the nomination for their parties.
We won at numbers that nobody has ever seen before.
The victories come as polls reveal widespread dissatisfaction with the choices.
It is the rematch few Americans seem to want.
A brand new poll raising eyebrows and hopes for some that there's still room for another choice, with public opinion on who would do a better job as president split, essentially into thirds between Trump, Biden, and neither. Perhaps one reason why Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who continues to poll in double digits, is moving forward, even getting closer to choosing a running mate.
Jesse the Body Ventura.
Former Minnesota governor and professional wrestler Jesse Ventura, and another athlete, New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers, reportedly among his top choices.
Some people, they just want to break from the two-party system, and that's really what he represents.
Every 4 years, we are expected to continue to vote Democrat, an independent candidate, which some feel is a waste of a vote. This is why it's actually appealing this time around.
But with more than 6 months left in the campaign season, voters feel comfortable, quote, flirting with other candidates, according to political science professor Todd Belt, who says historically that's turned around on Election Day.
People are oftentimes very motivated by the fear of the other side, and they generally see one of the candidates as being a real big threat. And so when it comes down to it, when they get into the voting booth, they just can't pull that lever for the third-party candidate.
But then there's also the possibility that this year history may not be our guide, given the highly polarized political environment, a host of legal issues, two very unpopular candidates who are frankly very old. Mary?
That is true. Well, as far as Robert F. Kennedy Jr., is there worry that he could pull votes away from either campaign?
Yeah, there is certainly worry, and I would say there's probably a little more from the Biden campaign. But, you know, if polls remain close through the next 6.5 months, voters usually will choose one side or the other, red or blue. By the way, we did just learn RFK Jr. will announce his vice presidential pick on March 26th, so make sure to mark your calendar.
And it will be likely a name we all know. Christine Frizzell live in D.C. for us. Thank you. Well, House Republicans are looking for a new path forward for the impeachment inquiry targeting President Biden and his alleged business ties with his son. One idea is issuing criminal referrals or recommending prosecution to the Justice Department. Another option is legislation highlighting the business dealings of presidents and vice presidents. The Republican congressman leading the impeachment inquiry said what he prefers.
If Merrick Garland's Department of Justice won't take any potential criminal referrals seriously, then maybe the next president with a new attorney general will. At the end of the day, my goal's always been accountability, and I think that's how you actually hold people accountable.
As for a vote on impeachment, there is a push to hold one, even if it's doomed to fail. This is many House Republicans are already saying they want ironclad evidence of Biden doing something illegal. Biden maintains he has done nothing wrong.
All right, let's take a look at your triple cast. Lots of good things happening. The radar is nice and clear. The sun is out, and we have been able to enjoy some spectacular weather, not just today, but the last day and a half. I mean, things couldn't be much better around here, and we're going to continue to see this as we head into the next, say, day or so. All right, good evening, everyone. We're continuing to watch when our next weather maker is going to arrive, but not tonight and not tomorrow, thankfully. Temperatures outside just are perfection, if you ask me. 70s to upper 60s if you're near the water. That's been the only place that didn't quite make it to the 70s, but we'll get there again tomorrow. Now, this is our next weather maker producing some strong thunderstorms out west. And right now, St. Louis is seeing severe thunderstorms, more to come out towards the Central Plains, and that system is our next weather maker. By the time it gets here, though, we are not expecting it to have enough energy to produce severe weather, but it will have rain and some thunderstorm capability here. But we're talking about just some rumbles of thunder, not the kind that we really have to be too worried about at all. So scattered showers, some rumbles of thunder as we move through Friday will be the case here. And that will be, unfortunately, the end to our perfect spring weather that we've had. We'll start to see some changes going into the weekend, but they're not bad changes. First of all, let's take you through your Thursday. We're in the 50s to start. We'll be back to the 70s very easily, mid-70s in and around Baltimore, but I would say the best way we'll see the upper 70s is going to be in the downtown, or actually in the metropolitan area, because all the buildings, all the streets can warm things up a few more degrees, so expect that as we head into Thursday. Friday will be the arrival of our front to bring us a chance for some showers. Mainly going to happen, I would say, likely towards the second half of the day than the first, but it still will have some possibility to bring some showers across the area, even in the morning. But by the end of Friday, we'll call this an over with and done for front. That's the good news. We don't have to worry about it raining on our weekend for a change, so our Saturday's looking good. Now, we are officially 6 days away from spring. What's it going to look like when it finally gets here? Not like spring. It's going to feel very different. A spring cold blast is on the way. Temperatures are going to drop like a rock once we get there. by next Monday and Tuesday. Much colder air is going to build in. Luckily, it's not going to last too long. We'll be back to seeing some pretty nice temperatures by that point. But until then, get ready to see a temperature roller coaster. We're dropping down the hill to the 60s Saturday and Sunday, 50s and to 40s on Tuesday. We'll be back with your 10-day forecast.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Pollen season is in full swing in South Carolina. There's so much of that yellowish greenish powder, even this alligator seems annoyed. And this guy was spotted yesterday in Florida. Black bears in Florida do not hibernate, but they will spend time in their dens between late December and late March. But even then, they spend less time and sleep less deeply than bears in colder climates.
Want to see your weather photos and videos on TV? Click Chime In on this station's website to share.
A therapist teaching kids about mental health, why she says it's never too early to instill healthy habits. It is never too early to start talking about mental health. That is the message from one therapist on a mission to spark conversations with elementary school-aged children. Molly Shen from our Sinclair sister station in Seattle takes us to a classroom for a lesson on mental health.
Just after snack time and before PE, these second graders in Auburn have a classroom guest.
I am Marky Mitchell, and I'm here to share my story.
Marky Mitchell is an author, and her story is Norma. The illustrated children's book tackles a topic young kids might not often talk about: mental health. Marky hopes getting the conversation started early.
Raise your hand if you know what mental health is. What is mental health? Yeah, birthday boy.
Will help reduce the stigma.
Your inside feelings, yeah.
In the book, Norma is a camping trailer who thinks she's been abandoned by her people. Marky leads the kids through Norma's feelings of anxiety, sadness, and worry, so they'll see how normal those feelings are.
There seems to be a lot of shame and guilt and embarrassment talking about mental health, and I would love for it to not be scary for kids, for kids to feel that they can talk about their feelings without feeling this shame.
She says during these classroom visits, kids often share their own symptoms.
Do you get feelings like that sometimes?
Yeah.
What do you do when you feel that way?
I take some breathings or I drink some water to make me feel better. Sometimes you gotta talk to your friends, calm down, and sometimes they can help you figure out what's going on.
Other times, Markey says children deny ever feeling depressed or anxious, something she says is a concerning sign that they're not comfortable talking about true feelings.
Kids are sponges. They do what they see. And so as adults, we need to start talking about mental health. We need to show them that it's not scary, that it's okay to be in therapy, it's okay to be vulnerable.
In the story, Norma talks to her friends who help her feel better. And in the end, Norma realizes she hasn't been abandoned.
Her heart slowed down and warmed up as she felt loved again.
Talking about mental health can be complex. Or maybe by starting early, these conversations can simply be normal.
The end.
All right, let's take a look at your 10-day forecast. It's at least going to be nice for another day or so, but we're not going to stay that way. I wish we were. 70 still for Friday, but we're tracking some showers that are going to move through the area. They'll likely be pretty scattered, so there will be some dry time. But luckily, at least Saturday and Sunday likely will be almost completely dry. Temperatures take a little bit of a dip there into the 60s, but a much sharper dip Monday, Tuesday. My goodness, that will be cold on Tuesday, but we do recover later next week.
Well, finally tonight, a special guest at Dunbar High School. Rapper Offset showed up to surprise some outstanding students. Baltimore police and DTLR coordinated the surprise visit earlier this week. Local radio host Persia Nicole also dropped by for the celebration. Students who showed great attendance and academic success this school year got to meet Offset and receive gift cards and get photos with him. Well, that's all for Fox 45 News at 6. Family Feud's next. We'll see you back here for the news at 10 tonight. Good night.